Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts. My platform, our platform to become your spiritual server. Welcome to the daily reading, daily energetic currents for today, Sunday, October 28th, 2018. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I can't remember the last time I did a daily on Sunday, or really on the weekend. I know I've done weekend reports, and I know it's a little bit later. It's around 3:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I still wanted to make sure I did this video because the cards I drew for today were awesome. I drew all the cards in advance this week. The cards I drew for today are awesome, and then we still have some really cool stuff that's going on in the astrology. So let's take a gander at that, shall we? Well, let's look at the cards. Today we have the Ace of Cups and the card of Temperance, and these are sponsored by the Sacred Geometry card of Empowerment. And Empowerment reads, the frequency of empowerment supports our ability to show up fully and completely, uniting us with others in the deep trust that we're all connected through the same source. Now, what does that mean? Like, that sounds all cool, but let's kind of break down just that in of itself. It's our ability to really show up for ourselves and really for other people, but it's by showing up for ourselves and we really feel that deep sense of empowerment or empowerment, power that comes from the inside. And we have to trust that everyone has that. We have to trust that everyone has this deep reservoir of power within them, and they do. Everyone has Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius energy, because that's, in many ways, I like to see that as the access of power. I see it as this access of frequency, and it's each of these all the fixed signs have deep reservoirs of energy and power. That's why this whole week has been very profound as far as what's been revealed. There might have not been a lot of action this week, but we are definitely feeling more empowered. I think the reason why we haven't had as much action is because we've been waiting for the moon to move into Cancer, which it does today. The moon is finishing up in Gemini and it'll be moving into Cancer this evening. And we've also been waiting for the Mercury making a conjunction to Jupiter, because that's happening, that's up towards the tail end of Scorpio. It's going to be around 27 degrees. And while this doesn't happen exactly today, we're going to feel this energy more and more. So as the day progresses, we're going to feel more and more and more of this Jupiter and Mercury coming together in Scorpio. Which, what does that mean? Of course, Scorpio is the dark. It's these shadows. It's these darker aspects, these deeper desires, the deeper currents. Scorpio is also a sign of the protector. It's a sign of how we protect ourselves, how we guard ourselves, how we hold space for ourselves. It's a very sacred energy as well. So even though a lot of it is masking the darkness and stuff, there is great power, great wisdom, and great beautiful light that exudes from this Scorpio energy. So with Jupiter, the planet of expansion and the high mind and fortune and gifts, in many ways you can see Sagittarius kind of as Santa Claus, despite the fact that Christmas falls in the time of Capricorn. There's a reason for that. But we have been waiting for this energy to come. And then, of course, Mercury is about the mind, communication. So with the moon being in Gemini, and then with Mercury being in Scorpio, everyone's had very deep psychological thoughts and processes going over the past few days. And what's probably happened is that you probably have worked out some conundrums. You've kind of worked out some kinks within your mind, within your path and your story, and you're getting a more of a general sense on where to go. But we're still waiting for this conjunction to happen. And when Jupiter and Mercury come together, you got to think though. Mercury is, Hermes. It's the messenger. It's Thoth as well, as far as ancient Kemet is concerned. And it's going to come with Jupiter, which in mythology they will say that's Zeus, and it's the god of the gods we're coming to. So them coming together in the sign of Scorpio, there's going to be some juicy conversations happening, not only here in this realm, but outside of this realm and inside of this realm as well. A lot of very deep, juicy conversations are about to take place, and this is really in regards to what is going to happen when Jupiter comes home finally. I'm sure you've heard a lot of astrologers talk about this. We're kind of beating it down, trying to really make this point across of how Jupiter coming into Sagittarius is going to be one of the most profound shifts you feel all year. And this entire year has been chock full of profound, powerful shifts. It really seems like just the entire year of itself, just following the astrology week for week, and there'll be weeks where there were, kind of lulls in the energy, but really, it's just been power punch after power punch after power punch, and today is no different. The power punch today is one of how you are able to transmute and transfigure and transform your emotions, how you transform your flow. Because we have, like I said, the Ace of Cups here and the card of Temperance. Temperance is actually the sign, it's actually the card of Sagittarius. It is actually a card of Jupiter. And even if you look at the angel in the card, how they're holding these two cups with the water going between them. And it almost seems like some of that water should fall out, but it doesn't, It remains in flow. And as you can see, there is a red triangle on the robe of the angel here. And that triangle is actually a representation in the classical elements. The triangle that is upright like this is actually known for the symbol of fire. So this even further cements, this is being Sagittarius' card. So even though we have the Ace of Cups here, and then we have this angel with the two cups, this is really about us being able to connect with each other on a deeper level, and connecting with each other on a more intimate level, and we're actually transmuting that energy as well. So it's not just, we have the Ace of Cups, so it's almost sort of like we are getting a sip from, the Holy Grail, for the Fountain of Youth. We're like getting a sip from it. But then we're also going to be transmuting the relationship that we have with each other based off of what's happened here. And it's like like I said, we are all powerful. We are all heroes. And it's interesting because I've been thinking about that, about the next stage, and really how I feel like Hirogami or Hirogamos, which is essentially the stories about romantic heroes, heroes coming together. You see a lot of this played out in our society in many different ways. I do feel like it is kind of coming back, and how we're actually going to start to act out all of this stuff. How we are actually the heroes of our own destiny. We really are. There's still a conundrum. There's still a splinter in the mind. It's like we're chasing our tail. It's like we're chasing our tail. And, we do go in circles and cycles. I think what Scorpio also teaches is that there's certainly infinity, and there is an abundance, and there's this feeling that this will go on forever, even if it's not necessarily in this physical body or this experience that is presented to you at this moment. There's a feeling that this has to go on forever. It feels that way, right? But Scorpio also teaches where the boundaries are. And in many ways, if you look at the figure 8, it is a cycle. It is a pattern, right? Now, of course, that pattern can appear larger or smaller depending upon how you magnify that infinity symbol, twist it and turn it, and therefore creating sacred geometry. But the interesting thing, like I said, is about this empowerment is that we really are connected to each other, and we are connected to the same source. We really are. We're like droplets of water in the ocean. And even though you may feel like you are a droplet that's in a river somewhere in Poland, and there's someone else where they could feel like they're just a drop of water in the Pacific Ocean, does not necessarily mean that these two drops of water are diametrically opposed. They may be in different places at the same time, and they may eventually come together by some incredible random miraculous magic. And it's like, it's not random, it's sort of calculated, but at the same time there is still that hint of awe, there's that hint of magic. So I think what we are discovering here is that as this year progresses and has, today will obviously show not only with these cards, but what's happening in astrology. As the moon comes in Cancer, this is going to be a very powerful moment because the moon's going to be in Cancer only for a few days, and the moon likes to be here. And this is almost sort of like us wrapping up some deeper wounds too, because the moon in Gemini does square Chiron before it slips into Cancer. But by the time the moon comes back around to Cancer, the North Node will be there. So that's actually going to be some really divine, sacred, and karmic healing that will happen the next time that the moon comes around. And it's going to offer us a great opportunity to really begin to cure ourselves of all of these, a lot of these fears that have been haunting us, and all of these shadows that have been looming over us and feeling daunting, and trying to really make it through this. Because what's happening is I do feel like we are living in the most incredible, beautiful times ever, but it is at the same time rather harrowing. It can be pretty intense. And this is coming from a Scorpio, right? Of course, a 12th house Scorpio, and you would think that, oh, I should be okay with all this creepy stuff, and I am. I'm really conditioned, especially based off of my dreams. So I've had pretty intense dreams my entire freaking life. But I will say it right here, and I'll just put it out there. For the longest time, and I still am, afraid of the dark. And that's coming from a 12th house Scorpio. So, and the reasons why, I really don't know. I think that's the conundrum for me in my personal life. Since it is the 12th house, I really think it's because of some greater service to the collective. So, but it's a fear that I have, worked with and integrated and gotten better with, of course, over the years. But, it's okay to be afraid of the dark. But don't let that control you. Unless you can learn how to see in the dark, which is really what's happening here. But it's sometimes I'm sorry, I'm kind of like going off a bit here. Like I felt like my train of thought was there and then it began to trail off. But what I'm pretty much saying is that yes, there are going to be dark times, and yes, right now things can seem dark. But there is light in every corner. There is a flame in every corner, in every one of us that is eternal, that won't go out. It's an eternal flame. It won't go out. That's the power about it. And there is also an eternal water droplet, to where we feel like if we are completely cut off and we just don't know if we want to trust, that's there. There's an eternal seed within us that will never go away. And from this seed, you can always sprout new life. And then the air quality, there's, I would say probably a song. I would say a song, or maybe even like just a ball of air within us that's eternal, that'll never go out, that'll allow us to connect with other people. We definitely are moving into a very interesting time. I say that a lot, interesting. But we are definitely moving into what's going to be some of the most insane, powerful, transformative, beautiful, synchronistic, and profound years of your life. And it begins very soon. As Mercury will come into Sag, and Mercury actually will be retrograding in Sagittarius. So when Mercury retrogrades, it retrogrades in the same element. So this year we've had Mercury retrogrades in Aries, and we had it in Leo, and now we're going to get it in Sag. So whenever Mercury goes retrograde, it happens 3 times a year. It happens in the same element. So right now we are really working on how we communicate with fire. We're really working on how we, think with that element, and what it means to really be passionate, what it means to really create something, and to really incubate it, and to express it, and how to really come into our authenticity. The North Node being here in Leo, about to come into Cancer, kind of wrapping up this whole, like, are you going to go for what your heart wants? Are you going to go for your passions, and what makes you feel like a little kid, just like a giddy little kid? It's like, this is so fun. This is so just, it's a deeper energy. One makes you feel like a star, because we are all star children. We are all star children, and we are connected to each other. we are connected to each other, always and always will be. That is it for your reading today. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to theAquarianAdepts.com. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, my fellow star children, to keep moving forward, stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.